Ricky, you good up there? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our July 25th board meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
Public
for which it stands. First up on tonight's agenda is to approve tonight's agenda. May I get a motion? Thank you, Rob. Jim, second. Any questions? All in favor? So it's 6-0. Superintendent's report is next, Mr. Poole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome, everyone. Just a very brief update this evening. Just a reminder that we are celebrating our 50th anniversary this year, and one of the projects is to upload some historical documents to our webpage. So if you go to our webpage and click on SWR50, we have scanned and PDF'd all of the district newsletters from 1974 to the present. So if anybody's interested for some history, some family pictures from when you were in school, those are available up there. So lots of fun, a lot of interesting reads. It's hard to believe, we're probably halfway through the school summer. We're 5 to 6 weeks away from the start of the school year. It is very busy in the school district, getting ready with supplies, with facilities, with staffing along the way, but lots of great work happening over the summer. Tonight, we do have several presentations. So I'd like to welcome Park East, Derek Natz and Rich Esposito, our partners from BBS. Mr. Ken Schupner is here this evening to give an update to the Board of Education on our capital project plan for the summer. I'd like to welcome as well Ms. Cassandra Nitti, our data security coordinator, who is here tonight to share some economies and efficiencies that we'll be putting in place in regards to registration and parent communications, or program Parent Square, and then a shift from the district to online registration. And then finally, I'll be giving the board an update on the strategic planning process for next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. Is anyone, opportunity for board members, anyone want to say anything? Moving right along. Let's move down to reports and reviews, please. First up, we'll have a summer projects update, as Mr. Poole just spoke to. So I'd like to call up Mr. Derek Natz from Park East, please.
Good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. As Mr. Poole stated, we're almost at the 50% mark, which is a big milestone for us in the construction field. And we're going to talk about your program summary, work progress for the month of July, work plan for next month, and some project photos of the work that was completed this month. Starting with your program summary, unit ventilator replacement project. That's at the high school and Wading River Elementary School. Then we're going to talk about the generator project at the high school, the roof recoating at the high school, the art room renovation, auxiliary gym, and pond amphitheater, all at the high school. So starting with the unit ventilator replacement at Wading River, 17 unit vents are being replaced with air conditioning. They completed the electrical disconnects of all the UVs. They removed all the existing UVs and the existing casework. They started the repairs of the fresh air plenums. All are complete. Sheet metal sleeves and insect screens are installed. They started installing the new UVs in the classrooms. I think as of tonight, they have 4 of the 17 installed, and completed the installation of the new electrical feeds for those units. The unit ventilator replacement at the high school, there's 5 at the high school. They completed the disconnects for the chorus room, band room, and adjacent offices. They're removing the existing UVs this Friday, and they're going to start the installation of the new unit vents this Friday, Saturday, into Monday. The generator project, they completed the installation of new conduits. We're tracking the new generator. Originally it was scheduled for December, but now it's been pushed out to February. And Seaford, the plumber, has installed the new gas lines from the existing header to the generator location. The roof recoating project at the high school, they completed the cleaning and preparing of all the roof areas. They completed the installing of the flashings, tested the solar panels, the existing solar panels. They tested them before they took them off the roof. They put them on the ground, and then once the roof is done and the solar panels are put back up, we're going to retest them and make sure that they have the same capabilities as they had when they were removed. They're installing the new base coating. It's about 75% complete, and installing the new top coating, and that is also about 75% complete. The art room renovation at the high school, they completed the electrical plumbing disconnects throughout, completed the demo of the interior walls and existing casework. They completed all the abatement of the floor tiles and mastic, and started to install the new walls. The framing is complete, and they're actually roughing in with the MEPs now, and they're planning to sheetrock those spaces starting next week. The auxiliary gym at the high school, they completed the demo of the wall pads and the mechanical equipment, started installing the new electrical conduits. The wall pads are expected to show up the second week of August, and they completed the installation of the new gas taps for the routing for the future rooftop equipment. The pond amphitheater at the high school, phase 1 was completed last time we met. Phase 2, they're expecting the materials for phase 2 to come in the next couple weeks, with an install of that material happening middle to end of August. Work plan for August, the univentilator project at Wading River and the high school. They're going to be flushing out the existing hot water systems. I know this was important to the Board of Education. This process will be verified by Park East and the district, and it will be documented as such. Startup and balancing of those new UVs, and then we'll move into the punch list and close out submissions for those projects. Those projects are on schedule or ahead of schedule, so there's no concerns on our end with the univentilator replacement programs. The generator project at the high school is also currently on schedule with the infrastructure. As I stated before, the generator itself has slid 2 months and is expected to arrive in February. Seaford will complete the new gas piping and the gas meter upgrades. Roof recoating at the high school for August. They plan to complete the install of the base coating and top coating, reinstallation of the existing solar panels and verify the proper functionality, and then move to punch list and close out. Again, this project is also currently on schedule and projected to be completed on time. Continued for the month of August, the art rooms at the high school. They're going to complete the install of the new casework, which is expected to arrive August 8th. Complete the ceiling installations, complete the fixture installations. Likely the permanent light fixtures will not be here in time for school, so there's provisions for temporary light fixtures. Also, the doors for the art rooms and the gym, for that matter, will not be here for the start of school, but they left the existing doors in place so that you'll have functioning doors until the new doors arrive. The auxiliary gym, they're going to complete the installation of new wall pads, complete the painting and visual graphics, complete the installation of the new flooring system, and move into punch list and close out. This project is also on schedule, again, with the exception of the permanent doors and lights and possibly some of the HVAC equipment. The pond amphitheater at the high school, as I stated earlier, they are expecting material in 2 weeks and plan to install that mid to end of August. This is over at Wading River Elementary School, where they have the 17 univent replacements. The left side is the old univentilators, and the new side, you can see the new univentilators being installed with the new casework associated. High school univentilators, there's only 5 of them here. This is a photo of the existing ones being demoed and prepped for removal, which is, again, expected to happen this Friday, Saturday, and new ones being installed Monday of next week. High school generator. This is the new electrical panel and the risers to the generator. So there's a lot of pipe work within the existing building, getting from A to B. They're all ready to go, and once that generator comes here in February, they'll be ready to hook it up. This is the high school roof recoating. If you can see the yellow area highlighted in the left photo, that's the area that's completed to date. That represents about 75% of the roof. The black circle in the middle is the remaining area that needs to be completed from now till September. The other photos show you the new white recoating system. It's the art room at the high school, showing you the demolition in the left and the new walls being framed out in the right. And as stated earlier, the electrical and plumbing have been roughing into those walls, getting ready for sheetrock for next week. This is the fitness center over at the high school. Left is the before photo, right is after demo. And the amphitheater at the high school. This is the completion of phase 1. And as I stated earlier, phase 2 materials are going to be here in a couple weeks, and the install of those phase 2 materials will be installed the middle to end of August. That completes the update. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, thanks for coming tonight. You mentioned work plan for August and whether or not a project's on schedule. Then kind of mentioned a few items for the Aux gym renovation. Mentioned lights, doors, obviously, and then you also mentioned the mechanical equipment. So what's the lead time and the delays for the lights and the mechanical equipment, and does that prevent us from occupying and using the space until they're installed?
So the lights, there's an outside chance that they're going to come in time, and we have a backup plan to reutilize the existing lights, so there's no issue with the lighting. I believe the doors, as I stated before, the existing doors are going to remain there. And as far as the HVAC equipment, the new equipment's coming in October, but I believe the district has provisions, if needed, to add heat to that space before that new equipment comes.
So it's just a heating issue, potentially?
Correct.
No outside air and
The existing system did not allow for an outside air component, so we will be operating the way we did originally. So the goal is to have everything in place once the new system comes in October, but the outside chance that we will need heat before October is pretty rare. We don't traditionally turn our heat on or about Veterans Day, so I would be operating the same exact way that I had operated previously.
what's the, is there going to be a shutdown, or is there going to be a period of time where we're going to have to close the fitness center to install the units?
I don't believe so. I think it's going to be able to be accomplished on night shift or over a weekend. It's all the work interior of the space will be completed before the school occurs, and the work that will remain will be able to be done from the roof. So everything will be there, ready to hook it up, and it should be a night's worth of work to get it up and functional without interrupting the space itself.
Okay, and I know you're not doing the equipment, but any issue or delays with receiving the new gym equipment?
We are currently, I spoke with Mr. Passamonte, I want to say second week of July, and then I also corresponded with the sales representative. We are on track to receive the third week of August. Last that he had provided us a ship date.
Great.
And the art room is similar then, the art room, it sounded like the light fixtures, was it? Similar.
Yeah, similar to the auxiliary gym, but we do have a temporary plan, and the light fixtures would be not interrupting the space when they do come. They would be coordinated over a night or a weekend for the install.
We're not expecting, so Glenn, on that, there's nothing that we're expecting to that. It's basically opening on day one.
We anticipate a full opening for all of the spaces under renovation. It's just the question of, will it actually have the final fixtures that we had planned for? Lighting is questionable, but then we always create a backup plan at this time of the project. We actually knew at the time of bid award that the rooftop unit for the auxiliary gym was going to be a challenge. So we started the project with creating a contingency plan for it. But we, as of today, if everything stays according to the current plan, all spaces will be occupiable in their usable fashion for the first day of school.
I had a question on the UVs for Wading River. We had existing window air conditioners in that space, right? Are those being removed, or are they still in play?
They're currently going to be, power is going to be turned off to them, and we aren't taking them out at this start of September until we develop the final window plan. The question is, do we take them out and then just put a fixed panel? We do not have attic stock for those original windows. So for right now, we are going to turn the power off to those units so that at the start of school, the staff now know all the air conditioning is going to be controlled by the building management system, because it will allow for a mixture of both outside air and inside air, which the current window air conditioning units do not allow for. So that's the September 1st plan, but the actual plan on how I am removing them and what I'm doing to the windows is still under review. It was not part of the unit ventilator project.
Okay, that makes sense. The UV units, the refrigerant type, is it something that we currently have in stock as part of our, district-wide? Okay.
It is similar to the rooftop units that we put in at the high school, I want to say in 2017 or 2018.
Does Ken know? Know the
Yeah, I think it's the 134A.
phased out anytime soon? I would expect that, so that's
Yep.
good.
There is the possibility that it can be phased out.
Oh, it will,
in
but down the
five-
road.
In 5 to 7 years, but we were unable to purchase something different. So I wasn't even.
No criticism here, I'm just
I'm just
making a
making sure,
comment.
because I actually did research what else were the options to put inside that bid with Mr. Siva. And he's like, there are no other choices. So we were kind of stuck.
Then you guys are in the process of doing, or have already performed a flush of the hot water side? Is that what I heard you say?
They're going to do a flush before they time into the coils of the units, and we're going to set that up where there's Park East to visually witness it, and district personnel to do the same, and then it's going to be documented. So it's going to be flushed at the three-way valve before the unit, not passing through the unit. And once we get clear water at each unit, then it will be tied into the coil of the unit ventilator.
Okay. That's not a glycol system, right?
No,
Okay, so you're just running water,
just
that
running the
water's
water
going-
until it's clear through a screen.
going to a drain?
Exactly.
Okay, so it's gonna go through the septic. Okay. The other question I had the UVs, PV system. How many do you have to take down?
Rich,
Got a lot up there, right?
how many
The PV system up on the high school,
400?
the roof,
About 400.
photovoltaics,
About 400 panels.
about 400. And we expect to put back half that, probably?
All of it, right?
Oh, you expected
All
all
of
to
it.
still be good?
Yeah, it was certified before it was taken down by an independent party,
Oh, okay.
not the roofer. The roofer agreed to what was verified and knows that when they put them back up, the expectation is that it's operating at the same abilities.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
It's a general question, I'm not sure if it's for you, Derek, but I know there's other projects happening around the district. Will we get an update on the school store?
We'll provide an update for that at the end of August.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I'm sorry, I had just one more. When I scrolled through the picture, I apologize. So the coating that you did on the roof, do we have like a walkway scheduled so that as people go up there to service, they're not gonna be draping over the existing coating and all that?
Yes, there's a walkway plan.
Okay.
It's integral to the roofing system, but it has an aggregate that allows for like a non-slip surface.
Like pads? Is that
And
what it is?
It's integral to the system. It's applied
Oh,
on
okay.
the system, but it's identifiable in color. And there's a plan that gets you to each unit
Right.
when you
Okay,
enter the
That's
roof.
great. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, have a great night.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in.
So next up, under reports and reviews, we have a presentation by Ms. Cassandra Nitti, the Parent Square Communication Platform Update.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present tonight. I'm really excited to be bringing two new things to the district. The first one that we're going to talk about is Parent Square. So I'm going to tell you a little story. This is the Rita family, and we have Marcy and Klein, and they are parents who both work full-time jobs and are actively involved in their children's activities and school. We have Alexander. He is an 11th grade student at Shoreham-Wading High School. He's a member of DECA, the Media Production Club, and the cross-country team. We have Melissa. She's a 6th grade student at Purdell. She is actively involved in the art club, world language club, and is involved in dance and soccer outside of school. And then we have Bobby. Bobby's a 3rd grade student at Wading River School. He is currently receiving AIS services. He participates in the Wading River Play Pals and is an active member of the Boy Scouts. So right now, Marcy and Klein are receiving communication from their children's school and activities through phone calls, flyers in their students' backpacks, flyers in the online campus backpack, through Blackboard Connect, via Remind, on the school district website calendar, through text messages, email, Class Dojo, the school website, Infinite Campus Messenger, Talking Points, My Conference Time, and signup.com.
That easy, right?
The Rita family has it easy.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, unfortunately for the Rita family, Marcy and Klein missed a meeting at the high school last week about the foreign exchange student program because the message was sent through Talking Points, which is what our ENL teachers use, as opposed to Remind. And unfortunately, Melissa stayed after school for an art club meeting that was canceled because the email, it went home in an email instead of through the usual communication system of the club's Remind. So that's the family in Shoreham-Wading River, but what about the teachers? So if families are having these frustrations, it made me wonder what frustrations the teachers are having. So I met with various teachers in every building throughout the district. They represented general education teachers, special education teachers, ICT teachers, self-contained specialty teachers, club advisors, ENL teachers, and coaches. I wanted to get a full view as to how teachers feel about our current communication with families. So most of the feedback was centered around Remind, which is what teachers are using to communicate with families. So some of the pros and things that they like are that it's easy to use, it's more convenient and less formal than email, parents like that the messages go straight to their phones, it allows for independence for our high school special ed students, parents can react to messages, it's great to send photos to parents, it allows teachers to develop connections with students in a safe environment, and there's the ability to forward messages to email. Some of the things that teachers did not like about Remind are that it is used by multiple organizations and can be very overwhelming. So Marcy and Klein have Remind for all of their children's classes, but also for Boy Scouts and out-of-school soccer, and all of those messages tend to get jumbled. It's difficult to get parents to sign up, which leads to multiple forms of communication. Teachers have to create a class code, and they have to repeatedly provide parents with the code, or if a student is transferred from one class to another, the teacher has to manually remove them, and then the new teacher has to give them that new code to join. So they're missing some communication. It's difficult to find individual parents for conversations the way that we currently have Remind rostered. They can't have group conversations, so if mom and dad live in separate households but they want to be communicated with together, Remind doesn't offer that. If there's co-teachers, Remind does not allow the ability for both teachers to speak to the parent together. It can be overwhelming, so even though there are office hours, teachers are still receiving notifications at all hours. It can be confusing for parents and teachers because of the way that it is rostered and set up. Photos can take a very long time to send. It does not translate for our ENL families, and it's difficult to navigate as a co-teacher. Additionally, parents can't sign up or volunteer for events and activities. So I did a little bit of research, and that leads us to what is Parent Square. So Parent Square is a communication platform that allows parents and guardians to receive all of their communication from the district, schools, classrooms, school activity groups in one unified app and service. And it's designed to keep parents and guardians informed and encourage greater engagement and connection with the district and Shoreham-Wading River families. So this is the old way, where we would have multiple forms of communication, and on the right-hand side, you'll see the new way, where it's one platform that is, it's something that is easily used by the tech-savvy parent, by the tech-shy parent, by the busy parent, by the tech-savvy student. And it is capable of everything teachers love about Remind, and also takes all of the things that they wish Remind had and encompasses it into one app. So some of the Parent Square features that we were really excited about. So there's automatic two-way translation to over 100 languages. So if I'm an ENL teacher and my family speaks Turkish, I'm going to type my message in English. The app will automatically translate it. The family will receive it in Turkish. They respond in Turkish. It translates to me back in English. There's automatic rostering through Infinite Campus. No more chasing around families saying, hi, here's a code. Everyone is automatically rostered once they are added to the schedules within Infinite Campus. Everything is in one place. So this means that there is no longer going to be multiple communication platforms. So Parent Square is a true mass emailer. Right now, when we're sending emails out, it could take several hours to get to the community. Someone at the beginning of the alphabet can get it at 3 p.m., someone at the end of the alphabet might get it at 10 p.m. Parent Square has the ability to send all of those emails instantaneous. So I believe it is, right now we can send 2 emails per second. And Parent Square can do 2,000 per second. It also has the ability to do urgent alerts, robocalls, school messages, and it allows for all communication to be in one place. So rather than using Blackboard Connect, Mr. Poole can use Parent Square, and everyone will get the notification to the exact same app that they're already using. It also has the ability to send media-rich messages to family and staff and students. I knew once I saw this that I would have Lou's buy-in. You can create newsletters, have videos, have all of these photos and links, and have that sent directly to the families on the school page. And it's all easily accessible because it's stored in a side panel, which I will show you in a little bit. There is one-to-one and group messaging. So like Remind, Parent Square allows teachers to communicate one-to-one with family members. However, it also allows group messages. So if I'm an ICT teacher, myself and my co-teacher can both communicate with the parent at the same time. There is appointments, volunteering, and sign-ups. So Parent Square will allow teachers to set up parent-teacher conferences, which we will only be utilizing in Wading River and Miller Avenue. It doesn't fit the format of a multi-class schedule for the middle school and high school. But it's great for signing up for mystery readers, do other appointments. The tech department may be able to use it for Chromebook signups, having seniors return their Chromebooks at the end of the year. And we might be able to have them make appointments. So it has a wide variety of options. And then there's the Student Square app. So this is an app just for students. So our special ed teachers really love that their students are able to communicate in a safe environment with them on Remind. Parent Square has an app just for students, and it's called Student Square. So that's something that we will have available for our high school students, as well as our sports students. However, before providing it to them, if they are under the age of 13, we do have to have a permission slip from their parents to be able to participate. And this is all going to be connected to their school Gmail accounts. So this is just a view of a sample school in Parent Square. So this is Lincoln Elementary. Over here on the side is your navigation panel. So that's where you're able to see all the posts, messages, alerts, and notices. There's a school directory, the calendar, which will link directly to what is on the school district website. And then as a parent, if you have a child that is in multiple schools, you can download that calendar onto your phone if you wanted to, and then receive updates. And then it also has the photos and files, the links, and archives. So as a parent, you're able to go see, oh, I remember this teacher sent a link. I don't remember when they sent it, but you can go to the link section right there. You can't really see it. And view all the links that were shared. That's the calendar. Up at the top is the notification panel. So there are email and push notifications. So as a parent or a user of the app, if you download the app, you will get a push notification on the app itself. However, Parent Square is an opt-out platform. So all parents and guardians in the community are automatically going to receive emails and text messages from Parent Square. We pull this information directly from Infinite Campus, which I will talk about a little bit more when I go into online registration. And then over here is just the iOS and Android app interface. You can see it looks very social media-like. It's very easy to use, easy to navigate, very intuitive. So here we have the ability for to navigate between multiple students and multiple schools. This is just a quick view down here of the alerts and notices where they'll pop up. And then this is just a sample of an appointment sign-up for parent-teacher conferences, what it could look like. You'll see here that it does show the name, but we will have it so that once a slot is selected, it is just blacked out. No one will know who it belongs to, aside from the teacher. So in one platform, the Rita family will be able to toggle between all of their children's schools. They'll be able to receive alerts and notices regarding all school activities. They'll be able to sign up for appointments, and they'll be able to see all of their photos and videos and files that are associated with their students. As a user of the app, you have the ability to choose your notification preferences. So on the right is just the left, it just talks you through the steps. So Parent Square automatically will send everyone text messages and emails. As a user, you have the ability to determine how you want to receive them. Do you want every single message as it's sent? Or do you want a digest of everything at once at 6 p.m., around that time at the end of the day? Of course, emergency alerts will automatically go out and override that setting. And if there's an emergency and there's a bus running late and we need to send a message to that group, that can always be overridden by administration. But this way, parents don't feel overwhelmed. They're at work, they get 7 notifications about upcoming events at this school. So our anticipated timeline for the fall of 2023, we are going to have the classroom teachers utilize Parent Square, so for the communication between school and home. We're going to be using it for parent-teacher conferences at Miller Avenue and Wading River. For the late winter and spring of 2024, we're going to be pushing attendance notifications, pulling that from the current system that we're using and putting it in Parent Square. Athletics. So we decided to wait on athletics because athletics do start in August. We wouldn't be able to provide coaches with the appropriate training needed, so they're going to continue to use Remind until about halfway through the year, and then we're hoping winter sports, we're going to transition over to Parent Square. We do have a way to roster those students in Infinite Campus, so we can just add them to a specific coach, and then they're automatically added to that group. And then for the 24-25 school year, it is our goal to have emergency alerts completely in Parent Square. So I know that Mr. Poole has expressed interest in wanting to get started right away. But we will have Blackboard as a backup for the entire year this year. And then secure documents is something that we are exploring on utilizing for the 24-25 school year. So rather than posting certain things in the campus briefcase, like Google passwords and things like that, there is a way to do that within Parent Square where it is secured. So for training, administrators are going to be receiving training this summer so that they're comfortable with the platform prior to the school year. Faculty and staff will receive training on Superintendent's Conference Day. Additionally, I will be going to faculty meetings at each of the school buildings. And I've also created resources that we have already sent to teachers and staff for them to be able to explore the platform on their own if they would like to. And then families will receive instructions via email how to set up their account. And they will also have access to videos and a wide variety of online resources. I'm working on updating the website to have an entire help page just for Parent Square, where if, how do I change my notifications? You click on it, it brings you to the instructions on how to do that. So once the program is fully rolled out, the Rita family will no longer have a dozen ways to receive communication from their children's schools and activities. Marcy and Klein won't miss any important meetings, and Melissa won't stay late for an activity that was rescheduled. And a majority of communication will occur through one easy-to-access app. Okay, questions?
Thanks, Ms. Needy. So if I'm a parent watching at home, thinking about this fall, children about to enter school, like you just mentioned, So what do we recommend parents do?
So the plan is on Thursday, a email is going to go out from Mr. Poole's office with the instructions on just what to expect and that we're transitioning from Remind to Parent Square. With that is going to be a set of instructions on how to access the app and navigate it. I've also already created a resource sheet that's going to be attached for parents that is very similar to what will be available on the website. I believe all these were included in the documents that were sent to you on Friday.
So the instructions will go out, that's great. The examples of the website you showed here, is that an example of what our school website will look like? So a more condensed communication, or just curious where you show some of the example schools?
Yes, so that is an example of the Parent Square, not our actual website. But yes, it will look very similar to that with the blue and gold colors. We have our logos already loaded in. And we'll be able to, we're working on linking the calendar, so that'll be directly from the website. And then there's also the ability to take to work with syntax and take the Parent Square app and take any notices that are posted on there and then have that pop up on the district website as well.
So primarily, it's really to replace the Remind app. It's also a communication with Infinite Campus, so push updates that go into the Infinite Campus app to Parent Square, is that what we're doing?
No, so the link to Infinite Campus is for rostering purposes, and it will have the, so if I start the school year and I'm in art and then, I want to change to a music class, rather than having the teacher send home the codes to be able to communicate, it will automatically sync at night. And now, as a parent, I automatically can see everything that the music teacher has posted that I need to know in order to keep my child
Got
informed.
it, so it links, so Infinite Campus will automatically update or vice versa to the Parent Square.
Yes.
Is what you're saying, so we're never.
So if parents, just to reiterate, so parents actually don't have to download the app or do anything. Even if parents don't take any action, once we start using Parent Square, they will get a text message from Parent Square. It just won't be from Remind. They'll get robocalls or emails that will come out of that one system. They don't necessarily have to take any action. I mean, I would recommend the app because now you can set, I want everything at 6 o'clock. I would strongly urge families to do it, but families could just be passive and just keep getting information the way they have been getting it through Remind, Blackboard, or the email. On our end, it'll just be coming out via Parent Square.
Correct. And parents will also have the ability to respond if they don't want to download the app or go onto the website. They can respond via email. So if you get the email from Mrs. Smith, you can just respond right in the email, and it goes to Parent Square for that teacher.
Now I think I'm better understanding. So ultimately, this collects all of the data, all of the information that gathered that day and puts it in one spot. Is that what it does?
Yes.
Okay.
Who creates that content?
The building principals, it can come from Mr. Poole's office, teachers.
The same content that's on our Facebook page?
Well, I think right now in Remind, that parent in a classroom that utilizes Remind, you will get some photos, you'll get some information, hey, we're outside today, so this would allow that to continue, and that is that sending out that information about how the class day went is generated by the teachers.
But in the past, teachers weren't required to use Remind.
They were not required.
So they can be, so that's why I think you were getting an email from maybe one teacher where they were just using some other forms of communication. And now, are we now requiring teachers and coaches to all use this platform?
We will ultimately shift away from Remind, which was a tool for teachers and coaches to use and settle so we're not replacing Blackboard at the start of the school, but ultimately those two separate platforms, Blackboard Connect, actually three, Blackboard Connect, which is the logo and text system, Remind, which is a classroom communication tool, and then ultimately Campus, which is the emailer that could take, well, it's versus 6 hours away, and I got to do email. It's going to take all three, put them under one platform, make it very easy at the same time for these. Here's the summary, text message, dear parents, please check your email. There's the email, and then there's a robocall. I hit one button, it all goes out at the same time and goes out very quickly to everyone. So it's gonna create some conciseness for us. If parents don't do anything, their experience will be the same, because they will just continue. The difference would be that for the Remind app, I have to opt into, I'd love to see some pictures of the students at gym today. You know, so I'm gonna, or I want information via Remind to my phone, I'm gonna enter the code and get Remind. In this case, if you're a roster in the classroom, you're going to get all that information with the ability to opt out of the Remind feature of Parent Square if you'd like to, out of that. You won't be able to opt out of emails or robocalls or emergency matters. So while it was not, Remind was not a required tool, communication is required from school to home, and I may have shared this, but we probably averaged something like 600,000 to 700,000 back and forth Remind communications, you know, per building in a half a year. It was a lot of it. Remind was really well used by staff in the school district, really increased communication from school to home. So this should create a conciseness for us, and ultimately savings. We'll be eliminating a couple of those platforms that we're currently using.
The Infinite Campus portal will still remain, correct?
Yeah, yes. We will always have Infinite Campus as a backup email system, so if there's ever an issue with Parent Square, you can always send an email via Infinite Campus.
Grading and things of that nature would still,
Grading will
you'd
still
pull
be
it
the
from there,
portal.
right?
You can still go into the portal to access your grades, and we'll keep Blackboard Connect this year as well to make sure that we do have the ability to do mass emergency notification. But as Ms. Nitti pointed out, over the course of the school year, we should fully move over towards Parent Square. And I know it's been successful in other school districts as a, you know, one of the things when we had the communication sort of roundtables a year ago, June, was, what came out of that was, and it's on the webpage now, is, hey, we have so many communication platforms, if we can't get rid of them, can you at least put something together that explains what each one is for? So if you go on the webpage, it's called the Communication Channels Guide, and it has a little paragraph, hey, this is for this is for that. That really will take the need for that. And that was something that came out of that parent meeting, was like, there's so many platforms and information coming, it's very hard for me to manage all this. Hopefully it will be a tool for parents to, as Ms. Nitti put it, set it up in a way that makes sense for them when they can look at information, when they want to look at that information, as opposed to all of it flying in at different times during the day.
So in the winter, spring, coaches, I know some coaches use Teams now, WhatsApp, and, you know, they use different, all the coaches are gonna be using this as well?
Well, coaches should have only have been using Remind, district email or Google. So they will use a district-approved, per policy, district-approved communication platform. So this would be an approved one for the school district.
Will the athletic schedule be on it?
Can the
can be.
athletic?
It's very customizable. So we, in Infinite Campus, we already have an athletics calendar, which is where we roster all of our athletic students, all of our athletes to the coaches, and that's how we get our coaches access to Remind. So we can pull that calendar into.
We don't have a calendar, we have a link sending them to go to section 11.
We can definitely post a link on there.
Calendar. I want this to be the calendar when my kid has a game.
So
It's
if
the
the,
calendar for the district. I know someone has to physically input that data into this calendar, but that's the ask. Can we input the athletic calendar into our district?
Yeah, well, I think that acquiring a staff member to do that work is possible. I just think, I think one of the concerns is that it's fluid. Section 11, it's fluid, so some of those change via Section 11, and do we have somebody that can monitor it daily and then make a change to the schedule in time so we don't send the parents
is it
somewhere
a
there?
Google Calendar?
So we would own responsibility of making sure that we've
Well, you're right.
kept current with
Someone
Section
would have to
11.
then monitor it, because if the district doesn't monitor it, then the parent has to. The parent has to be aware of all the changes. Ultimately, I think it's a district employee that should be monitoring.
Could be. I mean, probably right now, a coach says to the parents, hey, the game's been moved. Hopefully via Remind. It's a Remind message that says, the game has been moved from 10 o'clock to, to 2 o'clock. I think right now, the link is on the district webpage. Parents click on a link, and Section 11 owns the updating of the calendar. But certainly something we can explore to see, is it possible for a current staff member to create an athletic calendar, keep the games on it during the season, and then on a daily basis monitor and post any changes.
Ms. Cindy, you said you're going to work on putting school calendar, the regular school calendar tied to it. Is that something that's on the roadmap?
Correct, yes. So I know that we're currently Janice is currently working on putting all of the events in the current district calendar for the 24-25 school year. 23-24 school year, sorry. And then that will be able to be uploaded directly into Parent Square by building.
So is it an upload, or is it a link because then again, even the school year calendar changes.
So that is
Changes,
a live,
is it
it's a
mirrored, or
live
is it
link.
it's a live,
Yeah,
okay.
so that, it's, if it's in a Google Calendar, then you just share it with the Google Calendar. Any change that happens in the Google Calendar happens on the Parent Square calendar. And then if parents download that calendar to their phones, it also happens there.
So I really believe this captures a lot of the pain points that parents, the solutions for the pain points that the parents had shared at that roundtable discussion that Mr. Poole had mentioned. I had the opportunity to be at the curriculum committee meeting where you provided a similar presentation for our staff, and so I was just curious if you could share some of the real-time feedback that you had received in terms of the response to this. If we can, based on the response, envision the majority of our teachers being excited about using this.
Yeah, so during that meeting and also with my discussions with teachers throughout the district, I showed them the platform. I expressed the different capabilities that Parent Square has. They were all very excited to move to something that would address their concerns with Remind. So I know the co-teachers were really excited about being able to communicate collaboratively with parents. The ENL teachers are beyond excited to be able to use Parent Square to have it automatically translate rather than having to use Remind for some parents and talking points for non-English speaking parents. I know that at Wading River and Miller Avenue, they were a little hesitant about the change in parent-teacher conferences and switching to this type of platform. However, once I showed them how it worked, they were very excited. As long as they, they said as long as we get training on how to do it, which of course I'm going to provide. I also did speak to some teachers in the district who are parents in other districts that utilize Parent Square, and they love it. They find that it's very easy to communicate with their children's teachers. It's easy to navigate. And for those parents who do have multiple accounts in different districts, they don't have to log out in one name and log in another. Parent Square actually allows you to merge the two accounts. So you can go to, school district A that you work in and see all the stuff for work, and then switch to school district B to be able to communicate with my children's teachers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the Parent Square update. Good information. Now I'll have you move on to your online registration update, please.
So this year we are moving to online registration. I know it's something that we have talked about for a little while, but we are finally ready to launch it. I'm going to bring you back to the Rita family. So last year, the Rita family moved to Shoreham-Wading River, and Marcy and Klein had to register all 3 of their children in the district using our old registration system. So once the family was registered and the school year began, Marcy and Klein had to complete all of the yearly paperwork involving release forms, emergency contact cards for each of their children. This involved reviewing and acknowledging directory disclosure, acceptable use policy, Chromebook responsible use, military release, bike walker permission slips, photo video release, and these were each completed individually via Google Forms, where Marcy and Klein had to enter each child's information for every single release form. Additionally, they received emergency contact card for Bobby, and then they were sent 2 separate emergency contact digital forms for Melissa and Alexander. So in addition to registering, they also had to complete all this additional paperwork. It took them a lot of time. So our current registration process for new families in the district, so parents and guardians obtain the registration packet from district office, or they could print it from the district website. It's an 18-page packet to be completed by hand. The packet is then submitted. It's submitted to the registrar, and along with the required documents. The information is reviewed and scanned into the system by the registrar, and then the registrar manually creates accounts for new families and enters all of the family's information into the student information system. Household information, address, phone numbers, relationships, student information, etc. And then families are contacted regarding their registration and provided information on how to obtain a district Infinite Campus account. So currently, we have yearly acknowledgements for all families. We have a photo release, a student directory disclosure opt-out, an acceptable use policy, the district internet access acknowledgement, the student code of conduct, the walking and bicycle safety at the middle school, and military release for grades 11 and 12. So over here is an example of one of the Google forms that parents have to complete. They have to enter for each child their names, they have to select their grades, they have to put in the teacher, and then all this is then submitted to the office. So the new registration process, parents and guardians are going to click on a link on the Shoreham-Wading River website on the registration and withdrawal page. They are then they're again going to complete the online registration digitally and submit it electronically, along with any required paperwork will be uploaded directly into the system. The application is reviewed digitally by the registrar. Families are notified electronically if they're missing any documents. And then the registrar approves the application and adds enrollments for students. The online registration allows families to upload all the information that is required for registration directly into Infinite Campus. So residency verification, birth certificates, if they are transferring in and they have an IEP or a 504 and they want to share that, health information, so allergy packets, medical documents, if there's custody documents, previous school documents, it has the ability to be uploaded into Infinite Campus, and then we have created groupings so that it goes to the appropriate people once the children are registered. So the new process for existing families, so rather than parents having to complete the multiple Google forms for each child every year, we will be requiring all families throughout the district to complete an annual online registration update. So once they log into the parent portal, you select the little hamburger and you go down to more, and then you click online registration. They will verify and add any requested information. So the first year, so this year, it's going to require more information than it will typically, just because it's the first time that we're putting emergency contacts in Infinite Campus. But after the initial yearly update is complete, the information will only need to be verified and confirmed each year. We also have added the digital resource survey to the online registration, rather than sending out a separate survey and emails. That is automatically going to be added right in here, and it's very easy to just click and select the drop downs for the different answers, different questions. They'll also be able to acknowledge any required release agreements for the district. So photo, video release, student directory disclosure, Chromebook, vaccination guideline, military, code of conduct, all of that is now going to be an online registration, and it will populate directly into the platform. So this is just an example of the current online registration phase. They are going to change it, make it a little bit easier to navigate. Unfortunately, I have no say in when that's changed. That's Infinite Campus. But this is the primary household page. So this is where you would put in the phone number, the home address, mailing address, residency verification. And then we have parent or guardian information, where you enter the demographics, the contact information, whether or not you're a migrant worker, impact aid. This is the emergency contact page. So we are requiring families to enter 3 emergency contacts. And then in the registration under each student, parents have the ability to select the order that they would prefer those contacts to be reached out to in the event that a parent or guardian is not available. We then have the other household section, which is where you can add any children who are not of school age. And then there is the student section. So the first 4 sections are completed for the entire family. So you're only doing it for one time. And then the student section is where you would input that information for each individual student within the district. So we have each of these different tabs, so just like demographics, housing, special education. This is a screenshot for a new registrant, so previous school is on there, relationships for emergency contacts in that order, and then on the bottom is also the release agreements, which look very similar to this. So each family will have to review and click on the release agreement link and then select whether or not they would like to provide permission, yes or no. So some of the benefits to moving to online registration, we have it's pre-populated screens to current and parent guardians to retain the integrity of submitted household data. The district staff verifies that information prior to it being approved to use in the core system. So when it's submitted, it gets verified and then approved, and then it will post live to Infinite Campus. So if you are updating your contact information in the online registration system, it gets approved by the registrar, then it's now in Infinite Campus. That gets pulled into Parent Square. We now have your new contact information. It eliminates any duplicate data entry. There's also the health processing tools, which allow families to review and confirm any critical health information prior to enrollment while still maintaining student health confidentiality. All of this is it's behind user permissions. So there's emergency contact updates. So rather than filling out 3 different forms for 3 different students, you fill it out once. There's links to custom forms and tabs to streamline the process. There's the ability to save my work, so parents and guardians can return later to complete the registration process if interrupted. You can print and save the registration packet for your records, and it has the ability to adapt to the needs of the district. So if we have different requirements that we need to add into the online registration, we can easily update that without having to create a whole new packet. So the launch, we are launching this next Tuesday, August 1st. It will be open for new registrants and current families. The process we had, we did run a test. It took a current family with 1 student 15 minutes to sit down and do. And then the process for incoming families, we're estimating would probably take about 45 minutes to complete the whole registration. There are also, so these are the instructions that were created for new SWR families, and they contain different pictures for each step of the process. I've also created the instructions for current families so that they can be able to follow that. This will be posted on the website so that families will have the ability to see the instructions and follow along with it if they feel that they need that assistance. Any questions?
So I certainly see the appeal to doing it this way as opposed to how we've been doing it in the past. My mind just goes to the thought of just identity, security, identity theft, our cybersecurity, I know is part of it. So can you talk a little bit about that? You know, how secure is this to put all this information like this?
Yeah, so we are currently in the process of taking Infinite Campus and moving it to the cloud. So it will be cloud-based. It will no longer be hosted here specifically within the district, which adds that extra layer of security. We also, this year, will be turning on MFA for Infinite Campus. So in order to be able to access Infinite Campus, employees will be required to put in that MFA dual authenticator. Also, I am currently working with members of my team on reorganizing the grouping and the permissions within Infinite Campus, making sure no one has additional permissions or anything more than they need to be able to do their job. You're welcome.
Gotcha. So again, same viewpoint. So I'm a parent at home as of August 1st, I should say. We're going to recommend they go in and update the emergency contact information. What other things ultimately, in terms of medical, looks like update contacts? Anything else that you'd recommend?
So they won't be able to, anything that is required will have a star and an
Okay,
asterisk next to it, so they'll be required to complete any of that. I know that the system will ask if it's a foreign exchange student because it's the first time that we're putting it in the system. After that, it will be locked. Additionally, they'll have the ability to add additional household members if they want to, not required, but if they have a student or child that is coming into UPK next year, may be beneficial to put them there, so the information's already in the system. You're welcome.
Just a question, I guess, to Mr. O'Carey. Is this going to impact our cybersecurity at all? Insurance, do you see, or is it, you know?
There
I don't know.
should be no impact on the OLR system related to cybersecurity. Moving the Infinite Campus system to the cloud-based module will actually increase our level of protection. Going to MFA for Infinite Campus, again, will increase our protection as well, which will increase our appeal to continue to attract reasonable cybersecurity.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Sounds good.
Thank you for doing this. That's great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Meany. Thank you for all this information. It's really great to see what we're doing in terms of data and providing it to families. So hopefully everyone will sign up, and we'll be in good shape. So
Yeah.
thank you for this.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, reports and reviews. Mr. Poole with our strategic planning update.
Yeah, I know, I need 2 pairs of glasses, one for close and one for, I'm changing that though, but for tonight. Okay. Thank Ms. Nitti for all that work. Those are 2 great economies and
Thank you, Ms. Nitti.
efficiencies. And really meeting parent need, and the online registration, it's very complicated. There's Title I requirements, there's McKinney-Vento requirements, so the order of things and what's required in there, just a good collaborative effort. So, and it fits into one of our strategic planning pillars, which is, maintaining our programs, identifying economies and efficiencies. So it's been a great 3 or 4 years with our strategic plan in the school district. And we are in the last year of the plan. I know back in the fall last year, I updated the Board of Education on our current progress on the strategic plan. We identified additional action goals for the school year. We are 90 to 95% complete on the action goals that were sort of listed in the original strategic planning document as a school district. So kudos to the entire staff and team and the board for pursuing those missions and getting those action goals complete for the betterment of our students and our families. So we are at the point where it is time to definitely update the strategic plan. It'll be a pretty thorough process that we'll go through as a school district. Updating the strategic plan is going to include 5 phases. One makes sense, right? One is to collect and evaluate data. I'll get into that a little bit more. Developing some measurable outcomes for the plan. Identifying action items that support those measurable outcomes. Developing how we're going to go about implementing those action items, and then some community feedback and adoption. And hopefully, as we go through the process next year with a lot of stakeholder input, that we will get to a final newly adopted strategic plan that takes us from the 2024 to the 2029 school year. So I will not go through everything. We'll be coming back to this. But as I mentioned, phase 1, collect and evaluate data. So a lot of information has already been collected, looking at building condition surveys, fiscal projections, student outcomes, really what's going on in the world with education, the labor market, the technology research, we will do this in the fall, conduct additional stakeholder roundtables to do strength, weaknesses, opportunity, analysis of key programs, and conduct a stakeholder survey, and then really take a look what's out there for innovative educational practices and program. Next step, which will happen, some parts it'll overlap, but we'll be looking at measurable outcomes. What are the goals that we want to achieve as a school district? How are we going to measure those? How do they line up with the current pillars of the strategic plan? Will another pillar emerge? And then work on developing a 5-year growth plan for desired outcomes in the school district. And then phase 3 and 4 kind of go together. What are the steps that we would take to implement one of those action items, and then what are some of the estimated costs that go along with that, and then spend some time with some feedback in the spring and in June and adopt the plan. So I put it all in a nutshell, but if you remember the last strategic planning process, it was a lot of work, it was a lot of conversations, it was a lot of input from the community. It's really a year-long process to make sure that we really capture, in essence, the vision that the district, the community, the board, the staff have for the children of the school district and the district for the next the 5 years. And a lot's changed since we opened up the strategic plan in 2019. We're in a different place, in the world and in our community. So it'll be a great process, which I know will lead to great outcomes and great plans to put in place here. So here's a fairly rough draft example of what we could end up with for some planning goals and action plans and implementation plans. I know the board's aware that we've been pursuing a multi-tiered system of support for students. So that this would fall under this by June 2029. Students' experiences will continue to be aligned to the key tenets of educating the whole child. That's a current pillar that falls under maintaining whole child programming. So we have an outcome there. We have a timeline to get to that. So we already have 1 year under our belt with implementation. We're going to embark on year 2 of implementation next year and finalize it by the end of June 2025. Here's a list of action items. You see the action items are connected to implementation plans, and then there'll be a section on what do we see as particular costs that might be associated with that goal. I think very important as we move into the future. If we identify outcomes, what will those costs be? And then we want to make sure that anything that comes out of the strategic plan lines up with the district's mission and vision statement, and multi-tiered systems of support in this example certainly do. So it'll be a lengthy process. We'll certainly take some time, but should be some exciting work. I'm looking forward to involving the community, involving the staff and the board as we come along, and then updating the community at board meetings along the way. that is the process. It's all in a nutshell. I know it's very quick, but it'll be lengthy and lots of work as we move across the next 10, 12 months.
I think it's great work, obviously, what's been done and accomplished, Jerry, to see where we are, and then obviously planning for the next 5 years. So I think it's great. I hope the community provides feedback and gives us, information that they want to see as a result of the next 5 years.
Yeah, we will do a survey. I know we do a number of surveys, but it will be helpful to get another chance to get, it was helpful in 2019 to collect that survey information. It really supported the follow-up roundtable, so that information should serve the same purpose for us. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up are votes and resolutions. I get a motion for the approval of the July 11th, 2023 reorganization meeting. Henry, second, Mike. Oh, excuse me, Katie. Sorry, my bad. Questions?
All in favor?
All in favor? 6-0. Thank you. Next up, approval of July 11th regular public meeting minutes. May I get a motion? Jim, second, Katie. Any questions? All in favor? 6-0. Okay. Yeah, no problem. All good. Approval of the June 2023 Treasurer's Report. May I get a motion? Henry, second, Jim. Any questions? All in favor? 6-0. Next, approval of the CPSE, CSE, and 504 meeting summary memo dated July 12th, 2023. May I get a motion? Lee, second, Rob. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 0. Next would be curriculum and instruction resolutions. May I take them as a block? There's 2 of them. There will be 2000, number 2324009 and 2324010. Can I get a motion? Katie, second, Rob. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 6-0. Next up, human resources resolutions. We have 2 of them. May I take them as a block? So it'll be 2324011 and 2324012. May I get a motion? First is Rob, second is Jim. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 6-0. Business and operations resolutions, may I take them as a block? There are 4 of them. 24013 through 2324016. May I get a motion? First, second, Jim. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 6-0. Next will be our personnel agenda. May I get a motion? Jim, second, Rob. Any discussion or question on the personnel agenda? All in favor? 6-0. Any communications, Stephanie? I just wanted to remind our teachers and our staff and our administrators, I hope they're enjoying the summer and getting their well-needed rest as we prepare for coming into August, and then it'll be here before we know it, school opening, right? Again, thanks again for the 50th update, Jerry, 50th celebration. Looking forward to I've been seeing some of the social media posts with the 1974. Hopefully everyone's enjoying seeing those pictures. Anyone else have anything before we adjourn? Adjourn, right? Oh, we have to, motion to adjourn the meeting. Katie, second, Mike. All in favor? 6-0. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.